Hey everybody, this is Cromar with TGN. I'm here today to bring you some more Rift coverage during the beta. This is the Beta 7 open beta, and today we're looking at the Reaver for the Warrior, a very cool, very cool tank class that I found very enjoyable, based around dealing dots and death damage. And I am going to show you how it looks while grinding, actually, because surprisingly it's fairly effective, unlike the Paladin. So all I'm going to do is just pull with a ranged dot. Now, solo grinding against one enemy at a time is not the way to do it. As you'll see, I don't take any damage, which is good. So you don't have to worry about downtime, but it does take a long-ass time to kill things. About the same amount of time as it takes for the Paladin. Alright, so that's enough of that. We're going to pull a whole bunch of stuff. I saw some nicely clustered mobs over here. And I'm going to show you how well this does against multiple targets, and how the Paladin does kind of poorly against a lot of targets without a healer. I don't want to pull a ranged guy. I'll just pull these two over here. Okay. Together. Now I'm going to start laying in these dots. And as you can see, my screen is just filled with damage. And look at my health. I have not taken any damage. A lot of this is due to self-healing. But yeah, so that's four people. Yes, this is fantastic. This is actually a decent way to level, and not just for the novelty of playing a tank and leveling. If you played WoW Cataclysm, they kind of revamp tanks so that they're, absolutely killer for leveling. So, you might say, well, gee, I wish I could do that in Rift. Well, here you go. I thought I had more guys over here. Oh, well, this will do. Now, with one less target, I'm actually going to take slightly more damage, I think. It's okay. I'm going to take a heal myself there with a big attack. Alright. Yeah, this is way more exciting than the Paladin video. Paladins are boring in this game. I love Paladins in WoW, but Paladins in this game are boring. Screw it. Yeah, this is the way to go. If you're gonna level as a tank, this is the way to do it. Alright. Oh, there's the other people. I knew there was more people over there. I don't know how hard these Arcano Rhinos, which are like the coolest looking original mobs in this game. Tired of backing away from this guy slowly. Let's grab you, and you. Kind of screwed up the way I started this fight, so I almost died. Okay, 3 more attacks, and then I use my big self heal that just came up. Boom! All right, there we go. So yeah, you got to do it right. I kind of screwed that up. I pulled with the wrong abilities. I spent too much time with things attacking me. Also, it dropped off. But if you get attacked while running from the back, it assumes that you're running away, and you take a big penalty, increased damage taken. It's like 20% per stack, and it stacks on every hit, so I didn't catch how many stacks I had, but I know I had several stacks, and that's why I took an obscene amount of damage, and I had to wait till that dropped off before I could, survive. I didn't do half bad damage to him, but I got some lucky crits. If you've seen my other videos, and the numbers look a little different here, I actually have... I got some great advice from the comment thread on my Riftblade video, I believe it was, that you can actually go into your settings and turn on ability icons in your scrolling combat text. I'm not even doing this right. I'm not even using my dots. I'm just mindlessly hitting 2, 2, 2, 2, 3 over and over again. So the option there is under settings, interface, screen messages, and then it's right here. Ability name, ability icon, then I put abbreviated ability name so it doesn't fill up the whole screen. And let's get to a safe spot. And I'll do some more killing in a minute, but first I want to talk about this spec and how it works. So first let me go over the 3 primary dots you have as a Reaver. Now there's actually more, but they're on cooldowns or they require obscene amount of points like Flesh Rot. The 3 that you're going to have while leveling are going to be Soul Sickness, you get right away, 15-second cooldown, it's a dot. Necrotic Wounds is basically the same ability except no cooldown. And Blood Fever, which is a melee, otherwise it's pretty much the same thing. So 3 dots do death damage, not much different than one another. But once you get this talent, Soul Feast, your Soul Sickness, remember it's this one, will heal you. And then when you get really high level, you get Soul Devour, which causes your Soul Feast to do way more healing. So obviously this is something you want to get as soon as you have the opportunity. Then another extremely crucial ability to my build here is Plaguebringer. When you use this, your dots will spread to all targets if you cast them afterwards. Remember that Soul Sickness is on a 15-second cooldown, so it's important to make sure you use Plaguebringer first before you use Soul Sickness. So I pull with Necrotic Wounds since it has no cooldown. Once they're bunched up, I hit Plaguebringer, then I hit Soul Sickness, then I hit Blood Fever, and then start finishing them off. Also at level 26, I have Cyclone Strike, a finishing move which just does a huge amount of damage to 6 enemies. Now, again, level 26 before you get this, so don't think that you're going to be able to do that much AoE damage at a low level. All the best stuff, the 3 best things about my build, with Cyclone Strike, Soul Devour, and the last one is Master of the Abyss, I'll get to in a minute. Those are the things that really make this possible, and you don't get them till much later. You also don't get Grisly Works, this 9% heal when you kill the enemy, till level 18. And I tried this at level 20, and it was much less effective without this stuff. It wasn't that great. So when you hear me praising this spec as a leveling spec, you're talking about more like level 26 onward, where you can have Cyclone Strike and everything else, but not before that. Now from other specs, I got Paladin, primarily for defensive abilities. Well, pretty much the only non-defensive ability I use is Aggressive Block here. No, I'm sorry, there's actually 2. There's Aggressive Block and Retaliation. This procs every time you block. Aggressive Block is just an attack that gives you a block bonus. So I try to use this at the very beginning of the fight to make sure that I can maintain that buff. The passives I get, Shield of the Hero, 5% block, 5% hit. That's always awesome. Some extra threat for when I need to tank on this spec, but if I was doing like pure grinding, I would of course dump that and get in extra damage for one-handed weapons. And then down here, I just got extra block, which is really 10% for 5 points. Hell yeah! Now I could probably leech 1 point from here somewhere. It wouldn't be too hard to get Sinister Intent for extra threat, but this build is not optimized for tanking. Again, it's just kind of like half and half, tanking and grinding. So if I was going to go do a dungeon, I would definitely get this point first. Now the reason I have Void Knight is for Void, which, long story short, ignore this whole package thing, I'll get into that in the Void Knight video, but long story short, it reduces the magic damage, incoming magic damage by 5%, which is always nice for a free ability. Now might as well, while I'm here, go over alternate specs. The offensive specs do offer some things for you, like extra strength, which does give you block and parry, but really, you're going to be looking at Warlord as your best option as a different spec. But you need to put points into it, because if you don't have points in it, all you get is Battlefield Distraction, reduces the enemy's chance to hit by 5%, which is good. I mean, I'm not saying it's horrible, but I prefer the Absorption by far. If you are going to put points into it, Warlord does give you a lot of really nice stuff, like Empowered, whereas your Empowering Strike gives you an armor bonus, and a finisher that buffs your entire raid's attack damage on the target, and it's something you want to use pretty much constantly. So while I was recording, the game actually crashed, as it does often in beta, so I decided to take this opportunity to just shut off the mic and go do some fighting. So I record a whole bunch of AoE kills and a rift, so I'll get to that in a minute. But let me just talk about my rotation in a little more detail. I open up by pulling with Necrotic Strike usually, or with these guys they were so clustered I just hit my Plaguebringer, then hit Necrotic Strike right away, then Soul Sickness, then Blood Fever, and as you see, they're obviously ticking down all that damage. Then I use Cyclone Strike as my finisher, use Vicious Cleave to build up attack points, and if my Cyclone Strike's down, then I should use my Dire Blow single target finisher, although it's a pretty crappy finisher. So I came across a Tear, which is a pre-Rift event, and so I decided to go up and cast my Planar Lure to open it up, just for fun. Figured, hey, why not try to solo it? What's the worst that can happen, right? So we got this first wave here. Now, there's a trick to this that I'll tell you about in a minute here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull. I use my plague bringer ahead of time to put the dot as many people as possible, then hit my other 2 dots, and then start with AoE. And oh my god, I watch everything die. I mean, look how many mobs this is. This is insane. Yeah. So, unfortunately though, this, as I discovered, these are not full-fledged mobs. These are half health, the weak, the wimpy mobs that you get occasionally, sometimes in the first stage on rifts, or sometimes you get them on invasions as secondary guys, or some zones even just have half health guys just walking around. I'm not sure why, but I've seen some in Stonefield in a few different places. I'm not sure if I've seen any in Scarlet Gorge just yet, but anyway, so I'm going to pull the last 3 guys. And of course, this will be totally trivial. Same thing again. Plaguebringer, 3 dots. Cyclone Strike as a finisher, and so on. Now we're going to get a couple of normal mobs, but only 2. So obviously this is not a challenging rift, at least not so far. But we'll see when we get to the end if it changes. I don't want to spoil anything. So I'm again going to put up my dots and start with the AoE, Cyclone Strike, Fisher Strike, and so on. Same rotation, doesn't really change. Of course, I put an aggressive block in there somewhere, and I try to hit retaliation every time it's up if I remember. I should probably do something about that. I'm not very good at, honestly, remembering to hit my proc abilities when I should. So the next 2 stages are uneventful, so let me just skip to the last one. So after incredibly easy stages with weak mobs, all of a sudden I get this guy who's got about 10,000 health. Definitely meant for 5-man. And I'm trying to solo him now. I was fortunate that he spawns these ads because they don't do that much damage, and they allow me to heal off of him by putting up my dots and by using my other attack, what's it called? Master the Abyss or whatever. And that was the heal I used earlier. I think I actually forgot to go over that spell, and I apologize, but when you go to high-end Reaver, you get that Abyss spell, and what it does is it's a finisher on a 2-minute cooldown, or a minute 30 if you spec into it. And when you use it, it heals, and it does damage to everything around you, or 5 targets, I think, and it heals you for quite a bit. And the more you hit, the more you heal for. So that's what that was for. So that, and in combination with my soul sickness on everybody, is like the biggest ways I heal in the middle of the fight. Also potion, as I just used one there. Now I'd made a mistake here, a huge mistake, which is I wasted my soul sickness. And right there, or no, not right there. Not sure what I did wrong there. I did something wrong there, but anyway, so I died. So I rezzed up, and I was lucky enough to actually pick up a couple group members here in a public group. This guy and one more person that joins. So we have a much better chance of actually beating this guy. He doesn't do that much damage. I mean, he does he does a damage enough that you can't solo it. But I've certainly seen Rift bosses do it way more, where the healer was just going nuts trying to keep the tank up. Yeah, Rift can be serious business. So as you see, having a group is really helping because they're taking real damage. No, this kind of sucks because those ads died so fast that I wasn't able to, keep healing off of them. And, oops, I died. But, come on, another person joined just in the nick of time. Stay alive. Oh my god. There we go. And they got him. Alright, well that's enough of that. You got the idea. Definitely AoE based. Lots of fun. I enjoy playing the class, and I definitely want to play a Reaver as a tank for any instance I do, that's for sure. So, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. This is Cromar with TGN.